Okay. So let's get started with BodyKey by NUTRIWAY. BodyKey launched last October now. It's been September actually. And just a reminder that BodyKey is our holistic and personalised weight management program. Holistic in that it looks at you as a whole person and personalise it through the app and the questionnaire. It actually personalises the diet for what you need. So one other thing I will say, just so everyone knows, because people are joining me as we go, I have muted all of the attendees. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to email, to send through on the chat, and I will do a question and answer section at the end and see how we go. So I always think a good place to get started when we're talking about business is let's talk about what weight management is and I guess the business opportunity there. The first thing to think about with weight management essentially is the maintenance of our optimal body weight and our percentage body fat, for another term. It's looking at a long-term approach, really leading to a healthy lifestyle and includes a balance of eating and physical exercise. So it's getting that balance between exercise and diet right. I think we all have heard many times that if you eat lots and don't exercise enough, then that's when weight can creep up. So it's finding that balance. And you will hear all of our naturopaths at Amway always talk to you about balance and moderation and getting everything in the right level or like ratio for you as an individual. It's so very important. So why do we need, why is there a need for weight management? The World Health Organization back in 2008 did a survey, and their research suggested that in 2008 there were 1.4 billion adults worldwide who were either obese and were overweight, and over 500,000 were actually clinically obese. And that was back in 2008, and their suggestion at that point was that that was going to probably double by 2015. Now, last year's results from a survey aren't here yet, but certainly we do know that obesity is becoming an increasingly prevalent condition, and being overweight is one that is causing great issues, I guess, in all of our healthcare factors. But some of the needs for weight management include to prevent unhealthy weight gain. So to really try and help people reach their optimal weight. And I think also to optimize those weight loss interventions by personalizing them. So providing people with a program that really does suit their needs. And whenever we're talking about weight management, we talk about long term. We don't want, what we want to do is make sure that someone who loses weight in a 6 to 8 week period can keep that off. We don't want them to have to come back and get into that yo-yo dieting, which we know is so very common. So we're all about slow and long-term weight loss. Let's have a look at Australia and New Zealand, in fact. Actually, can I get a hand up? Have we got any New Zealand attendees today? Oh, I heard a beep, said some. Irene, welcome. Okay, fantastic. And Lisa as well. So Australia and New Zealand, I guess, are very similar. So when we're talking about our diet, our lifestyle, we are generally very similar. And if we look at the statistics for Southeast Asia, it's actually quite interesting to see what the obesity rate is. In Vietnam, only 10% of the population of human adults is considered to be overweight. Malaysia, 44%. And in Australia, it's actually 61% of the population is now considered to be overweight or obese, and 64% for New Zealand. Now that's obese so that's overweight. That doesn't actually look at obesity. As you can see, my screen has frozen again, which is, again, fantastic. There we go, 61%. When we're looking at obesity, we now can look at the Australian market. And I don't have the numbers here for New Zealand, Lisa and Irene, but I imagine they're going to be fairly similar. So the ANZ, Australian New Zealand market in general for weight loss is around a $400 million market, which is quite substantial. And they now say a third of all adults across our area are yeah, James, I'd agree. So James has given me a comment saying Australia is now closer to 64%. I'd probably agree. We are heading up there. I think Australia and New Zealand is very much in alignment there. But certainly from an obesity and overweight perspective, we know that 33% of Australians are now considered obese and another 33% are overweight. So that is quite substantial when looking at it that way. The weight loss industry as a industry is a $200 billion industry worldwide. So certainly it's something that we recognise from a business perspective, and remembering tonight we're here talking about business, we do recognise it's a market that is important for us to be part of, and that's where BodyKey was developed and launched. Now, of course, BodyKey is a regional program, and we are looking at it from that perspective, and they have actually provided some of these information for us. So what are some of the factors that lead to obesity? Number one is diet. We do, as a population, have quite a highly processed diet, and food and beverages that are quite low in nutritional value. Now, that's as a population. Certainly when I'm talking to our Amway population, that can often be quite different because we're quite well educated in the area of diet. But certainly as a population, that is our diet focus. Across both Australia and New Zealand, we do have more inactive lifestyles than we ever have. We spend more time driving in our cars to get to work and get away, and then we get home from work and we drop onto the couch or go from one inactive life to another. Obesity and being overweight has a really strong behavioural component. People who are stressed and emotional often lead to eating more comfort foods, and that can be a big part of weight gain. I'm just going to actually click through to the next ones and do them as a group rather than do them individually. Now, food preference is a really interesting one. If you look at what people choose, they often do choose foods that are high in calories and low in nutrients. If you go down to any food hall and you watch what people choose, more than likely they're going to choose something that is quick and easy and that is helping them get, I guess, some sort of satiety. And people don't realise that having good, healthy food can actually help you feel fuller for longer. So food preferences aren't great. Look, portion size is way out of control. I often tell some of the people here when I speak to them face to face, and I'm often shocked at the portion control and portion size rather when you go to restaurants. I'm sure you've all had experiences like I have where you order a pasta meal and it comes out like a salad bowl. Portion sizes are getting bigger. This is one that I find really interesting, and that's on food prices. And that there's a perception that healthy foods are higher in price. And look, I think it's an interesting one because unhealthy foods can also be quite high in price. I think it's the most important thing when it comes to cost is choosing the foods that you can best afford. So making the best choice every day to have the most nutritious food that you can. You can feed a family on less money by buying fruits, vegetables, and some lean meats than by taking them to your local fast food restaurant. So I do think that healthy foods can be inexpensive when you choose wisely. Some of the other health risks, or some of the health risks that obesity is linked to, include diabetes, stroke, heart disease, fatty liver, low self-esteem, and look, ultimately, and it's why I don't like having there, but ultimately it can lead to a shortened lifespan. The one I think is really important to note is the low self-esteem, and that's one that a lot of programs don't take into account, but it's very much part of the BodyKey program when we're looking at mindset. When designing the BodyKey program, the NUTRIWAY Health Institute scientists, as many of you already know, actually looked at a number of research. They did a great deal of studies and found that there's 6 key areas that are vitally important for successful long-term weight loss. And those 6 areas are looking at your diet and making sure that the diet that you're having is right for you, helping you with your meal habits. It's not only what food you eat, but it's also the habits that you have. So making sure you have breakfast, that you have 3 meals a day and you have your snacks. Looking at daily exercise, certainly making sure that you're getting regular exercise every single day is really important. But also looking at getting enough sleep and also managing stress levels. As I mentioned before, stress is a big part of modern society, and so making sure that it's managed is important. And as I mentioned earlier, mindset, which really keeps our program, I think, in line or out of step or in step with other brands, is mind step, making sure it's right. I got a bit tongue-tied there, guys. I'm so sorry. This is my first webinar, so I do get myself a little bit tongue-tied sometimes. I promise I won't do it again today. But look, mindset is awesome to do. But let's get into the body of this. So to optimize your health, we're definitely going to look at it from BodyKey. Again, it's a personalized and holistic program. And I say that regularly through this program because for me, when you're talking to prospective clients, they are the two really key areas to talk about. In the main part of this presentation, which I'm now going to go into, we're going to look firstly at the business part. So let's have a look at the PV, the price, how you buy the program and what different purchasing plans there are. And then I'm going to walk you through some persona types. So when they did the research, the NUTRIWAY Health Institute identified a number of different personalities, and we'll walk through how to talk to those, how to identify them, and how to talk to them to actually personalize your sales technique towards them as well. So BodyKey was designed as a program that's going to allow you to recruit, retail, and retain your clients. So recruitment obviously is getting that initial introduction to someone, and that's where weight loss is an important part of the health industry. As I mentioned earlier, it's a $400 million industry in Australia and New Zealand, so we know there's a good market there for it. Once you've actually recruited that person as a client or as an IBO should you choose, then you can actually look at the retailing of product. So moving them onto other NUTRIWAY products. We know in the bundle, which we'll go through in a minute, there are the key products. But there's a number of other NUTRIWAY products that also play a really important role in this program and the long-term success of your client. And we want to help you retain them. So once we have them as a dedicated BodyKey and NUTRIWAY client, we're able to move them and introduce them to other brands in the range. Some of the brands you think of probably automatically are our other wellness brands, such as eSpring and Atmosphere. But certainly also thinking about things such as artistry. As people's, women's particular self-esteem improves, their interest in perhaps changing their colour or looking at their skincare is going to increase as well. So having that opportunity to retain and introduce to other brands is very important. So here's the BodyKey bundle in Australia. I am going to show you the pricing for New Zealand as well, for those of you listening in from New Zealand, but we'll start today with the Australian one. So when you purchase the BodyKey bundle, you're actually receiving enough product for the 60-day program. You're receiving 5 boxes of the meal replacement shake, 3 of those are chocolate and 1 of those is vanilla. You receive 2 bottles of the all-plant protein, which of course is our vegetarian protein powder. You receive daily 60s, our once-a-day multivitamin, a box of Positrim variety bars, 2 chewable fibre blend tablets to ensure that there's enough fibre in the diet. And there are also some in-body band accessories. So you get the band itself, which is our fitness tracker, as well as the accessories being a sports bag and a shaker and a tape measure. And the tape measure is very important. It's actually part of the personalised assessment that you do to make sure you get a really good waste management. Welcome to those of you who are just joining us now. My name is Sarah. What we're going through now, we've just started on the business side of it and just going through the various bundles. So in Australia, the BodyKey bundle is $629 as a wholesale price, and with that includes a 10% product discount, which is fantastic. PV has not been discounted, so it's actually 134 PV, but the price is $629. At a retail, it is $768.30. In New Zealand, exactly the same content in the bundle. Your wholesale price is $799, again with that 10% discount, but no discount on PV, and the PV is $164. I don't have the exact retail price with me tonight, but from memory it's $960-ish. So let's talk the plan, and let's talk about how BodyKey can fit for you. This is a really important part for me to remind you all that I'm a naturopath. I'm not in business relations. So this is not necessarily my specialty area. Many of you who are actually taking part tonight know this part of it perhaps better than I do, and I greatly appreciate that. I always do suggest that if you do have any questions about the plan, do speak to your upline. They are your first call and definitely the expert for you. But feel free also to speak to our business relations department and, of course, your state sales manager. BodyKey has been, set at a PV, which helps you to get higher within the business and reach different percentages at a fairly easy rate. Let's have a look at this simple illustration here. If you purchase the BodyKey bundle, and then you also get 2 other people to purchase the BodyKey bundle as well, that automatically gets you to 400 PV, which of course is at a 6% rebate. Now that is, 6% rather, it's on the PV. And so that's a fantastic way of doing it. And of course, if you duplicate that, we did have the BodyKey challenge. Sorry, that should have been deleted from there. That has now finished. But if you look at duplicating what we showed earlier, so there's you and you have 3 others in your team. That gets you to 533 PV. And actually then duplicate that. So get someone else in your team to do the same thing. It's another 533. That means they're at 6% and you're at 9%. So as you can see, you are able to reach your goals from a business perspective at a relatively easy rate. And of course, the more you duplicate, the further you go. To reach 12%, you have you and 3 others, and then duplicate that 3 times so that you have 3 downlines, all at 6%, and you're at the 12%. From a show of hands perspective, tell me, how many of you are actually using the program at the moment from a business perspective? How many of you are actually looking at it as a recruitment tool and actually actively working with it? Let me just get you to show your hands so I can get a bit of an idea. Okay, so we've got, sure, so there's a few of you, perhaps more of you are thinking about doing that in the future. So hopefully this will be a good way of getting you some more information. I do encourage you, if this is an area you're looking at, certainly do sit down with your leader, who's always a really good way of giving you some good tips on how to actually work this better for you and to reach your goals. We all have different goals, and making sure that you reach your goal is what our most important thing is. It is an exciting program, so I encourage you to look at it. Now, as I mentioned before, retailing is another really important part of the program. So you get someone onto the BodyKey by NUTRIWAY program. They've started it, they've got the initial pack. When they do the personalised assessment and you get to know them a little bit better, perhaps doing the product recommender from NUTRIWAY, you may then also see some other products that suits them a little bit as well, and that can be a good add-on sale. The examples that are here are a couple that I have used in my clinic, in the clinic here in Bella Vista quite often. And let's think about someone who is a low-carb diet, and perhaps they find that their energy is a little bit low, or they're someone whose stress can be a little bit high there as well. So definitely doing the BodyKey bundle, but it's a good add-on sale. Definitely consider Carb Blocker. You know, Carb Blocker is one of our good old workhorses of the brand. It's a fantastic product which helps to inhibit alpha amylase, which is an enzyme that breaks your complex carbohydrates down to simple sugars. So it reduces your body's absorption of sugar, essentially. So for a low-carb diet, it's an excellent add-on. And B vitamins also play a really important role in a low-carb diet. They can help with any cravings for sugar. They help with energy. And so it's a good one to, again, to think of there. So as you can see, if you do that with the 2 add-ons, you're getting to 150 PV. Likewise, if you've got someone on a low-fat diet, you may want to think about Trim Choice Advance. Trim Choice Advance was launched last October, and it's a combination of green tea and an algae, a brown algae, and it's been found to help with fat burning, not from a thermogenic perspective, but helps the body process fats more appropriately. And that's another really good one for anyone on a low-fat diet. It can be used on a low-carb diet as well, but we generally suggest it for the low-fat. For someone with stress, my favourite product in our whole range is Siberian ginseng. Siberian ginseng is one of those products that to me is a bit of a bear hug. It's a great one for helping relieve stress, but it's also great for memory and concentration, which can sometimes be impaired through stressful periods. As I also shared with you, the other opportunity you have is retailing for other brands. So do think about the inner health, outer beauty aspect. We all have levels of skincare that we need assistance with. Now, no matter where someone is at in their journey with BodyKey, making sure they're on the right skincare, particularly if there's someone who does have a skin concern and it's something they're interested in, is really important. But certainly once people start to feel better about themselves, and remembering that, yes, this program is a weight loss program, but it's also helping to people to regulate their sleep, improve their mindset, improve their general energy. And as people start feeling better about themselves, they're going to want to experiment. And that might be, as I mentioned before, changing some color or trying a different skincare range. So inner health, outer beauty, a really good opportunity down the track. And also, as I mentioned, do think about our other wellness products. If you have someone, we're going to be talking about personas in just a minute, but if you have someone who's particularly health conscious, think about iCook, making sure they're cooking well, retaining that good nutrition in their food, atmosphere to make sure there's a good clean air environment, and of course eSpring, making sure that water they're drinking, because we're going to get them to increase their water intake, make sure that it's a really nice quality water. It's so very important. Now, many of you, or most of you, would be very familiar with our Chart Your Course program. So let's have a look how you can do Chart Your Course. Now, the first thing I want to just confirm is the different ways you can purchase BodyKey. And there's 4 key ways. It can be purchased as an IBO, as an outright purchase, or as an IBO, it can be purchased in 2-part payments. It can also be used as a registration pack, as a single payment, or as 2-part payments. So they're the 4 options you have for purchase. What we have done, though, is we've had a look at the Chart Your Course program and how you can perhaps get the best value out of it and use that program to help with your business side. So what we suggest is when you're actually registering a new IBO, get them to buy the Grab Pack as an initial starting point. That's an $85 purchase. Then, for their first order of 50 PV or more, get them to purchase the BodyKey pack on the 30-day payment plan. They then receive their 10% discount, being their first order, plus they're going to get their half their PV, 67 PV, and a $50 gift voucher. They can use that $50 gift voucher towards purchasing towards paying for their second payment. So they've bought the BodyKey on 2-part payments. The first one's paid with a 10% discount. The second one is paid using that $50 discount. So for BodyKey, they're actually only paying $548 for the BodyKey, which is a saving of $81. Of course, if they then do a third order of 50 PV or more, which they'll have received a $50 voucher from their second order, they can then purchase other product from the Amway range. So again, some other lifestyle products or some other product within the NUTRIWAY range, and they'll get their 50 PV again. So their total spend would be $789 for the 204 PV. They then receive a $200 rebate for completing the Chart Your Course program. So overall, it's only $589 for all of those purchases. I hope that gives you guys some food for thought if you haven't already seen it. But certainly do think about using the Chart Your Course as a way of introducing the program to people and of getting them to do that 2-part payment. But we do have, as I mentioned, 4 options on how they can pay it. So whichever one is best for them, that's the way to go. All right, and let's have a quick look through some questions I'm getting through just to make sure that I am covering off and there. Okay, can I just check, is everyone able to hear me? If I can just get a quick hands up from a few people to tell me that they can hear me. Yep, awesome, okay. So I think there are a few people that may have some issues with their sound, but it sounds like from majority of people here can hear me, so thank you for that. All right, now, excellent questions just come through from someone asking about whether we recommend this program during pregnancy and breastfeeding. And the answer, definitely not during pregnancy. And during breastfeeding, we generally don't recommend a weight management program during that time either. During breastfeeding, certainly adjust the diet and making sure you're eating well, but it's really important to make sure you're getting enough nutrients for you and your child. So generally, I would not recommend this through breastfeeding. However, if you are near one of our business centres, make a time to go in and visit one of our naturopaths and have a chat to them about your personal interest there as well. Greetings to Wellington. I've got someone from Wellington with us. So thank you for that, Kelvin. I'm glad I did include the New Zealand pricing in there. All right. So as I mentioned, when the researchers developed BodyKey, they actually had a look at the prospecting side in quite a bit of detail. And what they found was that if you talk to someone about weight loss, so if you're meeting people and you say 9 out of 10 people you'll meet, someone is going to be interested in weight loss. 74% of people you talk to are going to be interested or already taking part in a weight management program. It is a big market, but only 5.8% of those people would be interested in hearing about the business opportunity portion. So that's again where we talk about looking at talking to people to start with about their own weight, and then when they're on the program, perhaps looking at the business side there too. But it is a big area, and I'm sure if you sit at a dinner table or talk to a group of people, someone would be openly talking to you about the program they're doing. But when you're finding a weight management program that's going to work best, there's a couple of really key things that are really important and that people look for. The most important one is making sure it fits into your lifestyle. There are many weight management programs that actually encourage you to change everything you do, and it can become quite restrictive and very difficult to actually change everything. The reality is we go to work, we have families, we have an Amway business, and we need something that's going to fit in with that. And this program certainly does it. BodyKey by NUTRIWAY is an easy to follow program. Having the app on your mobile device allows you to actually track where you're at. Having the Embody band to actually track your steps and track your body composition, but also having the diet and lifestyle and exercise recommendations there on your phone allows it to be very easy to follow and very easy to stay on long term. As I mentioned before, staying on something long term is the most important thing. We want this to be weight loss for life. And so this program is getting you to make subtle changes to your diet, making sure well, depending on what your diet was like to start with, but in some cases, they're not big changes. They're getting you to look at whole foods. And so eating more whole foods and reducing your processed foods, replacing one meal a day. So it's convenient. You know, I have to admit and put my hand up and say I'm one of those people who breakfast has never been an easy thing for me. So I do my meal replacement shake every morning for breakfast so I don't miss it. You know, I grab it and I get the day going. The app allows you to track your eating habits. And I very much encourage everyone to make sure that they actually do track the food they're eating. That's how you can see what calories are being consumed and see how you're going on the program. Research has certainly shown that if you are keeping a food diary, and this is a digital food diary, then you become more aware of what you're doing and you do make changes that are in line with having a successful program. And all of that is the tools to track progress. So making sure that you are able to see how you're going, make those changes and see what's happening. What I also like to add in here is particularly for those of you who are near a business centre, another thing that we have is, of course, naturopathic support. If you're in a business centre catchment area, anyone who purchases the BodyKey program actually receives 3 free consultations with their local naturopath. And that's great because that allows them to personalise the program if they need to. Those of you outside the catchment area, you do have access to me through the naturopathic helpline. So feel free at any time to email me any questions you might have so that I can actually help make sure that you and your clients are getting the best out of BodyKey. But let's take a look at the different personas that have been found. So there's 5 main ones, and these are the casual person, the health-driven, the experimental, the struggling, and the complacent. I'm going to go through each of these and talk about, firstly, how you define them or how you identify them, but also how you may want to look at approaching them from a weight loss perspective and from a BodyKey specifically perspective. So let's start with the casual. Someone who's casual is someone who they're pretty relaxed. They are already focused on physical activity. And when it comes to weight management, they're interested as long as it doesn't have to change what they're doing. You know, they're perhaps busy, they've got a lifestyle that they really enjoy, and they want to have it that is something that fits in with them. they're casual in what they do, but they're not necessarily always happy with their weight. They may have goals that they're still trying to achieve, and they are looking for some weight loss advice. But again, they don't want to make too many changes. They're most likely to use any product that is already going to fit in with what they're doing. These are very much the people to talk to about our BodyKey meal replacement shake and all plant protein. And I guess any NUTRIWAY program product is going to be really good there, because we can have these all fit into our program. If we start with the meal replacement shake, look, we know it's a product that's been designed by our scientists using fabulous new taste mapping technology. And taste mapping technology is able to ensure that our product tastes nice and smooth. It's a great tasting product. It's got a good balance of proteins, carbs, and fats. It's got good fats in there as well. And it's going to keep you very much feeling full for a while, for a good time. It's a good meal replacement, replacing one meal a day. So again, it is for breakfast. Questions aren't being asked, is it gluten-free? No, it's not gluten-free, unfortunately. And again, this product is not recommended during pregnancy. But it's great to replace one meal a day. Up to you, it works. As I mentioned, for me, it works in breakfast time. For a number of my clients here in Bella Vista, it works well at night as dinner time, because we do tend to eat too big a meal at night, that is, as a population. But particularly those of you who are in business building mode, I know how difficult it can be, because many of you are going to work during the day, you have busy lives during the day, and then you're going to meetings, etc. at night. So meal replacement shake for you, or for someone who's on the casual thing, is a great way to have a meal and make sure they're not skipping. All plant protein, again, is one of my favorite products. It's incredibly versatile. You can add it to anything, because it doesn't actually taste of any particular flavor. So you can add it to any smoothies. Definitely encourage people to include it with a meal replacement shake, so to add a scoop of it in there as well. It's a great one to add into cooking. So again, if we're talking about someone who's casual and needs to fit in with their lifestyle, they may be someone who is a real down on hard cereal breakfast eater. So get them to add some all-plant protein in their breakfast to make sure they're getting enough protein, and then they can use their meal replacement shake later on. Now, again, other products that, our products are very easy to use. So think about things like, double X perhaps. If you're looking at them and they're already using a supplement and you think carb block is not, you think they need more energy perhaps than daily, then perhaps you can even think about down the track as that being a good add-on as the double X. These guys are also going to be really into the technology side. So definitely talk about the InBody Band and the BodyKey mobile app, because they want to be able to monitor what they're already doing. So that's casual. Again, just reminding that they're relaxed, they're focused on physical activity, but they don't want to change what they're already doing. All right, so the health-driven person. The health-driven person is a person who's probably going to sit with you and have a really good chat, because they're the ones who are very focused on their health. They're perhaps wanting to lose weight because they've had some health concerns. Perhaps they've had their annual review from their GP and they've found that their cholesterol's higher than it was in the past. Perhaps they're finding that their energy's lower, but they've definitely had some health concerns that have driven them to be that way. Now, this is going to be a great one. So they're worried about the relationship between weight management and the health issue. They want to lose just that little bit of weight to stay healthy. And they definitely have a desire towards better health. And like most people, they want their energy to be maintained. These group are the people that are the most highly motivated on any weight management program and tend to spend the most money on weight management product. So for these people, I encourage you to really know your product. Perhaps do the NUTRIWAY product recommender with them, so you can actually go through and get to know their health a bit better and get a good recommendation at the end. But they're going to definitely want to know more about the product. So as well as the product recommender for outside of BodyKey, they're going to want to talk about that personalized BodyKey assessment. Some of you may be new to hearing about BodyKey, so just let me to remind you about the assessment. The assessment is a 63-question assessment that came about from the research, again, that the NUTRIWAY Health Institute found. And the assessment asks questions around the 6 key areas, those being diet, diet habits, exercise, sleep, stress, and mindset. And by answering those 63 questions, that's how we then determine if someone is low fat or low carb. So these people are going to really like the fact that you're looking at their health, you recognize that they're concerned about their health, and you're making some personalized recommendations that are based on what they want to do. You actually personalize in the app what their weight goal is. And you can also personalize, of course, how they want to track their weight and how often they do it. So the personalization, very important for a health-driven person. The third persona we have is the experimental. Now, these are people that we've perhaps all met. They're the people that will try pretty much any weight management program that you'll find. And whilst they're highly motivated and they'll participate actively in the program, they do tend to chop and change. So these are the people who really need to make sure that that they're in the right place to get started. As we mentioned there, they have more barriers, which can cause difficulty in achieving their goal. So these may be people who start keeping a journal and start tracking things, but fall off for other reasons. Their lifestyle may be one of them. So again, that personalization part, ultimately very important, but also the mindset question, I think is a really important one for the experimental people, because yes, they're trying everything, but are they in the right time and place at the moment? How can we help you to make sure that this program is the last program that you try, because it's going to be the successful program for you? So focusing on the individual, vitally important, and that's where we need to always focus for these guys. Again, the personalized assessment is going to be their really big one, and they're going to love that the BodyKey app is on their phone. So in the past, they've perhaps been to programs where they have to write everything down that they eat, or that they have to go to a meeting once a week and tell someone how they're going. They're going to love that it's there on their phone, and they can look at it at any time. They'll probably be the sort of person who'll sync their InBody band to their phone multiple times a day. They'll probably do their body composition again multiple times. I generally suggest doing the body composition about once a week, so that you can actually get a good idea of how you're traveling that way. These guys, again, are going to love the idea of the BodyKey app essentially being their 24-hour personal coach. You know, you can be their coach and their support person as well. They have the app there that's going to give them their exercise advice. If they want to try something different, they can do a weight management or exercise management program from the app, so they can actually do an exercise class through there. And they're going to love the fact that they can also personalize it. So whilst, yes, there is the meal suggestions, something may come up and they think that's not a food I particularly like. Frittata, for example. Maybe they don't like frittata, but they can actually develop their own diet, and by adding that into the plan, they can actually then calculate their steps and their calorie count. So for the experimental person, they've tried everything. They will stick to it. The way this is going to work, again, is that personalization part, making sure that they can get it to what they need. Okay, so let's look at the struggling person. The struggling people are those that have a larger weight loss goal than any of the other personas. They've had success in other programs in the past, but tend to struggle with their weight still. And they're driven by their health. They recognize the weight loss is an important part of them having a healthy long-term health goal. But again, they struggle with maintaining the program. They want to participate, but they need that ongoing support. So the emotional aspects for these people are really important. They do need to have someone there with them all the time. And again, that app is their personal coach. It's there for them. But again, I'd suggest this is a great one, particularly for those in a business centre catchment area, to get the naturopaths involved. And feel free again to contact me through the naturopathic helpline, and I'll give you that address in a moment, so that we can actually make sure that they are on the right track. The struggling person is going to love hearing about the holistic approach of BodyKey as well. And those 6 key areas are going to be really important for them. I mentioned before that they are the ones who have a lot of emotional aspects. So the stress and the mindset portions are going to be really important. For those of you that perhaps haven't done the program yourself, I know most of you will have done the assessment, you actually do get at the end of the assessment a fantastic report that is actually able to be printed out or saved onto your iBooks. And it actually gives you suggestions and recommendations on how to improve various things. So if I looked at my report personally, I'm not sure, I'm not suggesting I'm struggling. I'm somewhere in between, I think, all of these, which I think most of us are. But I was confident that I could stick to the diet, but not confident I could stick to the exercise program. It gives you suggestions on how to actually achieve that goal. And the struggling person is going to love that. They're going to love that they get the recommendation that helps them conquer something that has been an issue for them the whole time. And definitely, as their leader of the program, talk to them about how you're going to support them as well. It may be that you take part in one of the business centre walking groups, or perhaps you're starting a walking group and a BodyKey group yourself. So look at ways that you can do it that way. But the struggling person is someone who needs that support, and the app is an awesome way of doing that. And the last person is the complacent. So the complacent person is someone who is really happy where they are. They may recognise that they are overweight, and they feel though that they can be that and still be healthy. But they are still motivated to lose weight, and they're motivated because of their family. They recognise that to help improve their health long term, they do need to make some changes. But again, they need convenience. So yes, they're happy where they are. They recognise that they can improve, and their family is going to be their main motivator. So optimal health, of course, is woven through everything we do here at NUTRIWAY. Optimal health is making sure that you live the best life you can live every day. It's making those decisions that are best for you in that current time. Earlier I mentioned about good food not necessarily having to cost too much money. And I think, again, it's making the choice that the best choice for you in that moment is what optimal health is about. It's being the best possible thing you can be. As I mentioned, they're going to be complacent, and it's going to be about convenience. These are going to be the people who work long hours in most cases, and in many cases are the ones who will skip meals. So having them have their meal replacement shakes, suggest they have it at work and keep it in their drawer in the office, so that if they are working through, at least they've got a shake there to have. Talk about how, again, all plant protein is so versatile. It can be used not only in the shake, which we encourage, but can also be used other ways as well. They won't be as into the technology side of it, but certainly I think they're the ones who will get to love the fact that they're checking their steps, and they'll love that their family will get involved in that too. Because I don't know how many of you have where you're in Body Band and maybe other members of your family go along and check how many steps you've done. I know my kids are always checking mine to see where I'm at. But these, again, they have health focus for their family. So getting their whole family on board with it is really going to be important. The program is designed to help with making sure that everyone is in their best health at all times. So weight loss is the most important part of that. One of you has asked a question about whether it can be used to tone their body. And I guess when we talk about toning of the body, that comes into the exercise portion. Diet is the most important part of weight loss. It's where you do make the most important part. But the exercise portion is where you really cement that weight management. It's where, by increasing your muscle, you can actually help with the fat burning and increasing of the fat burning. And so toning after the weight loss is something that exercise is vitally important for. If we looked at the 5 personality types that we had there, I think the most important thing and the key, no matter what personality type you're looking at, is talk about that personalization, show them your band, show them your app, show it how it works for you. I think all of these personalities really do love hearing about personal attributes, and having that recommendation and that testimonial from you on how it's helped your life is really important. One of the things that I always like to remind everyone is, from a testimonial perspective, it's not all about weight loss. It's about healthy living. It's about that optimal health. And, I've had a couple of people who have done the program and have said to me, oh, I'm disappointed. I haven't lost as much weight as I thought I would. But you look at them and their BMI is back within normal range. They're sleeping better than they ever have. They've got more energy. They're exercising for the first time. These are all things that are really important to help with overall health. And particularly for the complacents, that's going to be a really important part. So that is business building. I guess to go through again a couple of the key points. The program is designed to help you get to introduce the brand to people through that recruitment angle. It allows you to retail product that is best suited to the people on top of their initial bundle, and then also allows you to move over to other brands within the Amway family as well. The webinar today is the business building. We are going to do this program again. This particular presentation is delivered every month in the business centres, and I'll be delivering it another 3 times this year. So do keep an eye out for when it will be delivered again. This will be going up on our website, so you will be able to replay it at any time. Throughout the year, we are going to be doing a number of other webinars, and the next one will be on Nutrition 1, which is the first part of the Health Expert program. We've still got a few minutes. I'm just going to have a quick look through, see if there are any questions I haven't answered. But if anyone has any other questions, feel free to send them through to me as a chat. Yeah, it's one of the comments I had come through, and it's one I completely agree, is the all-plant protein is awesome added to scrambled eggs. It really is a really versatile product. It's one that you can add into everything. As a mum of 2 young kids whose diet can be all up and down, I actually pretty much add it to anything that I bake. So if I'm making a pancake or a pikelet or perhaps a muffin or something, I actually add the all-plant protein to it. Definitely always into the porridge. And it's just another way of adding some extra proteins. Our meal replacement shake is recommended to be used with skim milk. If there are people who can't take milk for various reasons, please remember this product is not dairy-free. It actually does contain dairy in it, the meal replacement shake. So if they don't drink milk because of an allergy, then they do need to consider the fact that there is dairy product already. If they choose not to drink milk because of other reasons, then they perhaps can look at a milk alternative. Oh, sorry, yes. These times are all Australian times. Sorry, going through the questions. Kelvin asked me whether the 6:30 is Australian time. Yes, it is. So so that would be 8:30, if I'm not mistaken, on the 2nd of March for New Zealand. But yes, 6:30 for Australia. Okay, so someone has asked the question about can the exercise videos be downloaded onto a USB stick? And no, unfortunately they can't be. They are only through your mobile app. So you can download it onto an iPad or onto a tablet, so that makes it bigger so you can actually view it. And a lot of people have asked if they're actually doing the exercises, that it's a bit hard to look at the phone. So you put it onto a tablet, that makes it a little bit easier there as well. The other one is someone that has asked, sorry, I'm going to go back here. So a couple of people have asked for a bit more information on the protein powder. So the all-plant protein is the product that is included in part of this program. All-plant protein is made from protein sourced from soy, wheat, and pea protein. So it is a dairy-free vegetarian protein powder. It's about 80% protein, low carb, and as I mentioned, it hasn't got a significant taste to it at all. So it's very easy to add. Coming through here, people are recommending or mentioning they add it to their yogurt, their smoothies. It's one that can definitely be used in cooking and into food as well. So a really versatile product. And I actually consider it to be one of almost of our foundation products. we consider the NUTRIWAY pack to be XX omega-3 and fruit and veg, but a good protein is a really important part, and some members of the population don't get enough protein. Particularly our vegetarian clients don't get enough protein, so getting the all plant protein is great. As a side note, I also think the probiotic is an excellent everyday product as well. So a couple of questions actually about the setup of the actual app and the phone. So when you purchase the BodyKey program or the BodyKey bundle, when you open it all up, you'll actually, inside there is a brochure going through what BodyKey is and telling you about BodyKey, and there should be a sticker on the back of that brochure which actually gives you your master code. It's the master code that actually unlocks the app for you. So what you do in terms of setup is you download the app from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on your type of phone. You charge your band. You must charge the band first, and then you add the code to the actual to your app. So you set up the app, you put in your phone number, you make your own password initially, and then when you go into the assessment, you get the master code. If you do have any ongoing questions with the